of wrestling's top stars in the 1990s, Mick Foley was known for taking risks.
Good God Almighty! They've killed him!
His willingness to do almost anything to entertain fans made him a 3-time world champion under the name Mankind, an appropriate moniker for a big man with a huge heart.
Come here, I gotta give you a hugger bugger.
Semi-retired from wrestling for the past decade to spend more time with his 4 children back home in Long Island.
Good one, babes. There you go, that's pretty good.
As well as to rest his broken body.
Ah, just hurt my knee.
Foley has also used the time to boost the morale of our soldiers overseas. Fund childhood education centers in Sierra Leone, the Philippines, and Mexico. Author 2 best-selling books. And now, he's attempting a career as a stand-up comedian.
How many of you were here last time? Just raise your hands. Well, not too many, all right. Obviously, we made those people happy, right?
The occasional bad joke aside, Mick is once again doing good, sharing the proceeds from his comedy shows with charities.
Where does the impulse come for you to reinvent yourself? That's what you're doing here.
I don't think of it as reinvention. I think of it as natural extensions.
So in more than 30 years, I mean, I've covered every kind of story there is.
Right.
I've never covered anybody like you.
Is that a compliment?
What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a compliment. I appreciate it. I like to think of my life as something of a paradox, something that wouldn't seem to make sense at first, but upon closer examination, makes perfect sense. And that's the way I feel about my relationship with RAINN.
RAINN is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, the largest sexual abuse support organization in the nation. And Mick Foley may be its largest volunteer.
He set a goal of raising $10,000. He blew by that within the first 48 hours. So he upped the goal, then he upped the goal again. He upped the goal about 7 or 8 more times. And then he decided that still wasn't enough. So he went into his closet, he pulled out his memorabilia, some of the shirts he had worn in his most famous matches, and he decided he was going to auction all that stuff too.
On many days, Mick can be found all alone at home in front of a laptop counseling rape survivors online. A song by Tori Amos, one of Mick's favorite performers, was his inspiration. She's a rape survivor and co-founded RAINN.
You're a celebrity. A lot of celebrities will lend their name.
Yeah.
Or even write a check.
Right.
You do so much more. What's up with that?
It's the simple phrase, walking the walk.
How much of this was, I am a wrestler, I'm identified with male violence? Is that a big piece?
I don't know if that was ever a conscious feeling at first. I get strong feelings, and then I wait for them to go away. And if they don't go away, I go with them. I can't ever have the insight into this issue that a survivor would. But I can approach helping survivors of sexual violence largely through what I've learned on the road over 25 years.
Good heat, let's see it come back. See the heels get a little heat, okay?
So Mick also counsels aspiring wrestlers.
You can add a little duck or something in.
Along with another pro wrestling star, Sean Waltman.
A blind eye was turned to a lot of really bad things that happened in wrestling.
And like Sean alluded to, I guess it was prevalent enough that people didn't realize that drugging somebody with the specific intention of raping them, making them less resistant to advances, I mean, it's as a father.
Sean Waltman knows all too well because he was sexually abused as a child.
I've also had to live with the fact that I went several years without telling anybody, and potentially other children were exposed because I didn't say anything. So there's a lot of guilt and shame involved in carrying that around too, you know.
If I hear anybody messing around with rufinols or other date rape drugs, including alcohol, with the intent of lowering somebody's inhibitions to where they can't make a rational decision, I will make sure that that person doesn't get booked. I'll do everything in my power.
Understandably, Sean has deep admiration for what Mick is doing.
Mick's one of the people that makes you still have faith in human beings in this day and age, you know. As cliche as that all just sounded. I mean, I see the guy and I smile because I'm like, you know, they're still good on the earth, you know.
Just ask Dan Mulvey.
How you doing there? Wait, this is Dan?
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy? It's really good to see you.
Dan and his family came to the comedy show to support Mick. They met years ago at a fundraiser when Dan was being treated for leukemia. Mick followed up by visiting him at home to watch wrestling on TV.
It was really fun. My friends came over, had a really good
We
time.
actually hung out in the living room with all the kids with the potato chips and pretzels or whatever, and they all watched the wrestling show.
On the other side, there's... Good God! Good God! That's it, he's dead.
So this world-famous wrestler, known for going the extra mile in the ring, keeps putting himself on the line in new arenas, taking other kinds of risks, and going for it to help others.
My wife brought home a dog called Pom Pom, and another lady tried to buy it off us, claiming that it inhabited the spirit of her dead Pomeranian. God, do I wish we'd given that dog away.
There seems to be a bigger message here about not limiting oneself in life.
If somebody wants to take something from this, it should not be, let me try that move in the ropes in Germany where Mick lost his ear. But certainly get out there and test your limits and understand that people are usually capable of far more than they give themselves credit for.
You guys think I did okay out here tonight? We're raising a lot of money.
Mick Foley, ladies and gentlemen. Mick Foley. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For my generation, I'm John Crane.